Pendo. Had to stop from my walk with Henry, aka the Ripple Dog. And I was thinking on my walk today about how important it is to see people, to really truly see them. This week I found myself having a conversation with someone that I probably never would have expected to meet, someone that was having a particularly rough time, challenge in their life, and dealing with sadly, some real challenging circumstances. And this guy kind of ended up telling me his life story, at least the last couple of years' story, about some of the struggles and problems that he's gone through and had, and difficulties, and found himself facing probably an untenable situation at work. He was sadly missed his shift and was convinced he was going to be fired. And he'd been working so hard, and he screwed up. He had something that happened that caused him to miss, and he didn't know what he was going to say to his boss. And I said, I'm a boss. And I said, I understand and totally get why you would be nervous and why you'd be frustrated. I know as a boss, we depend on our people. I said, but there's two things that I think that you could do that can make a difference. Number one, say I'm sorry. Admit that a mistake happened, you missed your shift, and you will do everything in your power to not do it again. Ask for forgiveness, but ask for a second chance. And as I was talking to him and sharing some of my thoughts and wisdom, this guy got really emotional. And I said, at the end of the day, nobody wants to be lied to. Nobody wants to hear excuses. They just want to hear the truth. And even if the truth is not all that great, sometimes you just need to share it. And you open the kimono a little bit, you allow yourself to be vulnerable, and then you remind them why they hired you in the first place. And that this one mistake, you'll work your tail off to make sure it doesn't happen again, but it was an isolated event, and you shouldn't be judged on a whole based on one single situation. This guy looked at me, tears in his eyes, and he said, why would you take the time to talk to me? Why would you take the time to even share this? You don't know me. I mean, I could be lying. I'm not. And, I've been truthful and honest, but you don't know that. And I said, I don't know that. You're right. But I like to think that I see things in people. I like to look for the good in people. And there are just people that have this aura or vibe or this way of carrying themselves in life that they're authentic, and that they're truthful, and that they are contrite, and they are, in this circumstance, very disappointed in themselves and upset, that they let somebody else down. And I said, that's the mark of a good person. You're telling me what happened, and that alone tells me a lot about you, because you don't know me from Adam. And you're being honest and truthful, I believe, to me, and I feel like I owe that same commitment back to you. And I could tell he had a very good heart. He's a good dude. And yes, made a mistake, and he'll have to have some consequences for that. But when I told him that I like to think I see things in people, he just he actually started really getting emotional. And he said, I don't know that I've ever had anybody in my life say something like that to me. And in the moment, I really didn't put much stock into it. I actually didn't really think too much about it until I was on my walk. And then I was thinking, gosh, how sad is that? And then I was thinking to myself, how many of us don't actually have those people in our life that actually show that kind of care and compassion? And I'm not saying because, pat myself on the back at all. I'm just saying I just did what I do. And I think what you would do as a Rippler, which is to see the person on the other side of the table or in the other chair or whatever, and just fully acknowledge them for the individual that they are. And I think by the time you get to be my age, and by the time that you have met as many people as I have, I like to think that I am pretty damn good at assessing talent. I think I am pretty good at knowing who the BSers are and the people who are authentic. And when you get an opportunity to recognize somebody for what you see in them, the positives, maybe don't point out the negatives, but the positives, that is actually an unbelievable gift that you are providing them, because you are saying, I see you, I hear you, I believe you, and I know for a fact that you are someone that has a good, authentic heart. And like was the case with this individual, that was a gift, I think, that he never expected. I never knew I was giving, but I was just being me and being truthful, and it paid off.